Picture this. It's 1925. You're in Chicago. Prohibition's in full swing, which means the only places to get a drink are illegal speakeasies, run by guys with Tommy guns and creative approaches to conflict resolution. You're not a gangster, you're just a regular guy who likes to drink and have a good time. And tonight, you're having a very good time with a woman you met at a speakeasy. She's pretty, she's fun, she's very clearly a working girl, but you don't care because you're drunk, and it's the roaring 20s, and everyone's living like the world's about to end. You go back to a room above the bar, 20 minutes later, you're significantly poorer and significantly happier. You don't use protection because, well, condoms exist, but they're expensive, sheep intestine, things that nobody likes. And besides, what's the worst that could happen? 3 weeks later, you notice a small sore on your equipment. It's painless, kind of firm, doesn't really bother you. You think maybe you scraped yourself or something. You ignore it. The sore goes away on its own after a few weeks. See? You were fine. Nothing to worry about. Except you're not fine. You're very much not fine. You just contracted syphilis. And because this is 1925, and penicillin won't be discovered for another 3 years, and won't be mass-produced until the 1940s, you're basically f***ed. Fast forward 10 years. You're 35 years old. You've been having headaches, memory problems, your personality's changed, you're angrier, more paranoid, your hands shake. Sometimes you can't walk straight. You go to a doctor, he examines you, asks some questions, and delivers the news. Tertiary syphilis. It's in your brain. You've got maybe a year, maybe 2. There's no cure. Welcome to the 1920s, where a single bad decision with a prostitute in a speakeasy can give you a decade-long death sentence. Oh, hey there. Before we talk about what this disease is doing to your brain right now, let's play our fun myth-busting game. I am going to say some myths about syphilis, and you tell me true or false. Ready? Myth 1. If the sore goes away, you're cured. True or false? False. The sore going away means the disease went underground, not that it's gone. You've just entered the latent phase, where it quietly destroys your organs for the next decade, while you think you're fine. Myth 2. Mercury treatment can cure syphilis. True or false? Technically true, but also you'll probably die from mercury poisoning instead. So it's kind of a pick your poison situation. Literally. The treatment in the 1920s is injecting you with mercury compounds that might slow the disease, but will also destroy your kidneys and make your teeth fall out. Fun times. Myth 3. Only prostitutes and degenerates get syphilis. True or false? False. Everyone was getting syphilis in the 1920s. Prostitutes, their clients' wives, babies born to infected mothers, soldiers, sailors, rich people, poor people. Syphilis was the STD of the decade. It did not discriminate. All right, now let's talk about what happens when a sexually transmitted bacterium decides to eat your brain over the course of 10 years. And fun fact, Al Capone, yes, that Al Capone, Chicago mob boss, legendary gangster, died from syphilis in 1947. Not from a shootout or a rival gang, from an STD he probably caught in a brothel in his 20s. He spent his final years with the mental capacity of a 12-year-old, babbling incoherently in his Florida mansion. So if you're thinking, at least I'm not alone in this, you're right. You're dying the same way as one of history's most famous criminals. So what is syphilis? And why does it take 10 years to kill you in the most humiliating way possible? Syphilis is caused by a bacterium called Treponema pallidum. It's a spiral-shaped bacteria that looks like a tiny corkscrew under a microscope, which is somehow fitting because it's about to screw you for the rest of your life. You get it through sexual contact, specifically direct contact with a syphilitic sore. That woman you slept with had it, you touched the sore, or she had one internally, the bacteria entered your body through your mucous membranes, and congratulations, you're infected. Syphilis progresses in stages, and each stage is worse than the last. Let's walk through them. Stage 1 is primary syphilis. This is the painless, sore phase. The chancre. It shows up at the infection site about 3 weeks after exposure. It's firm, round, painless. It looks kind of like a bug bite. And here's the devious part. It goes away on its own after a few weeks, even if you don't treat it. So most people in 1925 see the sore, it doesn't hurt, it goes away, and they think they're fine. But they're not. The bacteria is now in their bloodstream, multiplying, spreading to every organ in their body. Stage 2 is secondary syphilis, and this happens a few weeks to a few months after the sore disappears. You get a rash, usually on your palms and soles of your feet, which is weird and distinctive. You feel like you have the flu. You might get wart like sores in your mouth or genitals. Your lymph nodes swell up. In 1925, you might go to a doctor at this point. They'll recognize it as syphilis because syphilis is everywhere, and doctors see it constantly. They'll offer you mercury treatment or arsenic-based drugs like Salvarsan, which was called the magic bullet, even though it was only kind of effective and also kind of poisonous. But let's say you don't go to a doctor. Let's say you tough it out. The symptoms go away after a few weeks, and again you think you're fine. You're not. You've entered latent syphilis. This is the sneaky phase where you have no symptoms for years, sometimes decades, while the bacteria quietly burrows into your organs. It's in your heart, your blood vessels, your bones, your brain, just waiting. Then, 10 to 30 years after the initial infection, you hit tertiary syphilis. This is the your body is falling apart stage. The bacteria has been eating away at your tissues for years. It forms gummas, gross tumor-like growths that destroy whatever they're growing in. You get them in your bones, your skin, your organs. Your nose cartilage gets destroyed and your nose collapses inward. Your palate might perforate, so you've got a hole between your mouth and nasal cavity. If it's in your heart and blood vessels, which it usually is, it weakens the walls of your aorta. Your aorta can develop an aneurysm and rupture, killing you instantly when it bursts. And if it's in your brain, neurosyphilis, which is what's happening to you, then you get the really fun symptoms. Personality changes, memory loss, delusions, hallucinations, loss of coordination, paralysis, seizures, dementia. It's called general paresis of the insane, and it's exactly what it sounds like. Progressive paralysis and insanity as the bacteria destroys your brain tissue. This is how you die. Not from the syphilis directly, but from your brain turning into Swiss cheese, your heart exploding, or infections that your destroyed immune system can't fight off. And remember, in 2025, all of this is prevented with a single penicillin shot. In 1925, you're just screwed. Let's walk through your 10-year journey from fun night at a speakeasy to dying insane in an asylum. Year 0. You sleep with the prostitute, get infected. 3 weeks later, the painless sore shows up. You ignore it, it goes away. Few months later, you get a rash and feel like you have the flu for a few weeks. You stay home, drink whiskey, wait it out. Symptoms disappear. You think you beat whatever it was. You didn't. The bacteria is now spread throughout your entire body, and you're entering the latent phase. Years 1 through 10. You feel completely normal. You go about your life, you work, you drink, you maybe get married, you have kids. You have no idea you're carrying a disease that's quietly destroying you from the inside. During this time, the bacteria is burrowing into your organs. It's in your brain, forming microscopic lesions. It's in your aorta, weakening the walls. It's in your bones and skin, setting up for the gummas that'll show up later. You're a ticking time bomb and you don't even know it. Year 10. You're in your mid-30s. You start noticing problems. You're forgetting things. You walk into a room and forget why you're there. You forget people's names. Your wife asks if you're okay and you snap at her, which isn't like you. You're having headaches, bad ones, the kind that make you want to lie in a dark room and not move. Your hands shake sometimes, you drop things, you stumble when you walk like you're drunk even when you're sober. You go to a doctor, he does a physical exam, asks about your sexual history. You lie, say you've been faithful, but he's not stupid. He's seen this before. He does a blood test, the Wassermann test, developed in 1906, specifically to detect syphilis. It comes back positive. He tells you it's tertiary syphilis. It's in your brain. There's treatment, mercury, maybe arsenic-based drugs, but at this stage, it's not going to cure you. It might slow things down. Maybe. You start treatment anyway because what else are you going to do? Year 11. The treatment isn't working. Or maybe it is, but you're too far gone for it to matter. Your personality is changing. You're paranoid. You think people are plotting against you. You think your wife is cheating on you. You accuse your friends of stealing from you. None of it's true, but you're convinced. You're having mood swings. 1 minute you're euphoric, grandiose, talking about how you're going to be rich and famous. The next minute you're sobbing uncontrollably for no reason. Your memory is shot. You can't remember what you did yesterday. You can barely remember your own children's names. You get lost walking home from work even though you've walked that route 1,000 times. Your speech is slurred. You slur your words like you're drunk even though you haven't had a drink. Your handwriting has deteriorated into illegible scribbles. You're also having physical symptoms now. Gummas are forming on your skin, these gross ulcerating nodules that ooze and don't heal. Your nose is starting to collapse. You can see the cartilage rotting away. Your wife is terrified of you. Your kids won't come near you. You're a stranger in your own body. The doctor recommends you be committed to an asylum. You refuse. You're not insane. Everyone else is wrong. You're fine. But you're not fine. Year 12. You're in an asylum now. You didn't go voluntarily. Your family had you committed after you attacked your wife during a paranoid delusion. You're in a room with barred windows. There are other patients here in various stages of neurosyphilis. Some are babbling incoherently, some are catatonic, some are violent. You're all going to die here. You spend your days in a fog. Sometimes you're lucid enough to realize where you are, and it's terrifying. Most of the time you're not. You have conversations with people who aren't there. You think you're back at the speakeasy in 1925. You think you're a child again. You can't walk anymore. Your legs don't work right. Nurses have to feed you because your hands shake too much to hold a spoon. Then one night you have a seizure. A bad one. You convulse for several minutes. Your brain misfiring as the syphilitic lesions spread. After the seizure, you don't wake up. You're in a coma. Your brain is so damaged that there's nothing left of the person you were. 3 days later, your heart stops. The bacteria has finally destroyed enough of your brain that your autonomic functions shut down. You're 37 years old. You've been dead for a while, really. Your body just took a few extra days to catch up. So what does dying from syphilis actually feel like? For the first 10 years, it doesn't feel like anything. You feel normal, healthy. You go about your life completely unaware that you're infected. This is part of why syphilis was so deadly in the pre-antibiotic era. By the time you had symptoms, it was too late. When tertiary syphilis hits, it feels like losing your mind. And I mean that literally. You're losing your ability to think, remember, reason. Your personality is dissolving. The memory loss is terrifying when you're lucid enough to notice it. You'll be mid-conversation and forget what you were talking about. You'll look at your wife and not recognize her. You know something's wrong, but you can't articulate what. The paranoia feels real. You're not thinking, I'm being irrational. You genuinely believe people are out to get you. Your brain is making connections that don't exist, seeing patterns that aren't there. The mood swings are disorienting. You go from feeling on top of the world to crushing despair in minutes. You have no control over it. Physically, it feels like your body's betraying you. Your hands don't work, your legs don't work, you drool, you slur, you can't control your bladder. You're trapped in a body that's falling apart. And toward the end, when the dementia is complete, it probably doesn't feel like much of anything. You're not aware enough to be scared. You're just gone. The lights are on, but nobody's home. It's not a dignified death. It's not a peaceful death. It's a slow dissolution of everything that makes you a person. Reality check. Before penicillin, syphilis was one of the leading causes of death in the Western world. It killed millions. Kings, peasants, artists, prostitutes, didn't matter. If you got it and didn't catch it early, you died badly. Famous people who died from syphilis: Al Capone, Oscar Wilde, Franz Schubert, possibly Henry VIII, possibly Hitler, Edouard Manet. Lots of historical figures went insane and died from what was politely called general paralysis in medical records. Treatments before penicillin were nightmare fuel. Mercury injections or ointments, a night with Venus, a lifetime with Mercury was the saying. The mercury would make your teeth fall out, destroy your kidneys, cause tremors, and maybe slow the syphilis down. Maybe. Salvarsan, developed in 1910, was better but still toxic. It was an arsenic-based drug that required multiple painful injections and had severe side effects. It worked sometimes, but not always. Then in 1928, Alexander Fleming discovered penicillin. By the 1940s, it was being mass-produced. And suddenly, syphilis went from a death sentence to a minor inconvenience. 1 shot, 2 weeks, you're cured. Today, if you get syphilis and catch it in the primary or secondary stage, it's completely curable with antibiotics. Even latent syphilis can be treated, though damage already done can't be reversed. The problem is, syphilis is making a comeback. Cases have been rising globally since the 2000s. Why? People stopped being scared of it. STDs became curable with pills instead of you'll go insane and die, so people got careless. And here's the dark irony. If antibiotics ever stop working, if we get antibiotic-resistant syphilis, we're right back to the 1920s. No cure, just a slow descent into madness. So maybe use protection. Get tested. Don't assume that because something's curable now, it'll always be curable. Because the alternative is being a 1925 statistic who died in an asylum, babbling incoherently because of one fun night at a speakeasy. So there you have it. Dying from syphilis, slow, humiliating, and entirely preventable with basic precautions. The good news is we live in 2025, where penicillin exists and syphilis is curable. The bad news is people are still getting it because they think it won't happen to me, or they just don't care. So learn from our 1925 protagonist. Use protection. Get tested regularly. Don't assume a sore that goes away means you're fine. Because even though we have antibiotics now, going insane and dying in an asylum is still technically on the table if you ignore it long enough. Like and subscribe if you liked this video. Stay safe, wrap it up, and if you notice a weird painless sore after a hookup, go to a doctor immediately, because the alternative is spending your final years thinking you're Napoleon while your nose rots off your face.